And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome, everyone, to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service and Alaska region on this Friday, June 27th, 2025. And starting out with the weather-related headlines across the state of Alaska, we still have a flood advisory for snowmelt along the Matanuska River east of Palmer along mile markers 13 to 15. There's been some erosion there along the riverbank that threatens a couple of homes. This has been ongoing for a while, plus the channel has shifted over time, so it's contributing to some of those issues. Otherwise, wet and breezy conditions will be the case across the Panhandle at times this weekend. There are going to be 2-3 different impulses between now and early next week that'll reinforce some of the rain or rain showers that pass through, along with some breezier conditions. We're also going to see moisture increase across areas of the eastern, southeastern mainland as we go through this weekend, especially later Sunday into Monday, Tuesday, which could enhance some of the rainfall with some of the showers and thunderstorms. And then a somewhat stronger compact low coming across the southwest western Bering. We'll have a front that pushes up along the west coast Sunday night into Monday of next week, and that's going to have some gale force winds in areas along with rain. Some of the rain could be moderate to locally heavy. So looking at way to the north, Utqiagvik, lower cloud deck, 37 degrees. And those of you along the Beaufort Sea have seen these low clouds kind of come in at times, especially at night, early morning, along with areas of fog. And then get a little bit of a break. You can see through the clouds there in the afternoon when you get the daytime heating, but still cool temperatures, reading there mid-afternoon 37. Knob Ridge between Delta Junction and Tok. If you look off to the east to the higher terrain, you can see this band of built-up cumulus, low-top cumulonimbus producing some showers. Could be isolated lightning strikes in that 63 degrees. And within this area, we're going to find an enhancement with that moisture coming in for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So the showers that develop in this area, upper Tanana Valley and 40 Mile Gold Country, eastern Alaska range, could put down some heavier downpours as a result. Palmer, mostly cloudy this afternoon, 62 degrees. The Matanuska River, east of there, there have been some minor flooding issues, mainly erosion along the bank. This has been an ongoing problem for a number of years, but there is a flood advisory that remains in effect on that stretch of the Matanuska River between mile markers 13 and 15 until noon Monday. It's been extended now. And then Kaufman Cove out there in the Panhandle, lower clouds, a little fog, rain showers, 54 degrees. And there's a frontal system that'll be creeping northward that will enhance the rain or rain showers here for later tonight and on Saturday, along with some breezier conditions. Areas along Dixon Entrance and Clarence Strait and on over toward around Prince of Wales Island could see some not gale, but small craft advisories. And looking at, there are no specific widespread watch warnings or advisories other than right now that it doesn't show up on this map because it's just simply too small of an area. The flood advisory on the Matanuska River I just mentioned. And moving on to fire weather. You look at the grass adjective, now we're starting to pull out away from grass being the biggest carrier fire and shifting toward spruce, but still note the area. We have higher fire danger, very high fire danger between the Brooks and Alaska range and here through the central eastern interior. We look at the spruce adjective and notice it's pretty pronounced here along especially north side of the Alaska range, lower middle Tanana Valley up into the Yukon Flats. And we are going to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So the fact that the thunderstorms are still into play, especially later this weekend, early next week, there could be some additional fire starts from lightning strikes. But looking at the satellite imagery, we have one little weak low, another system coming up from the south. We have a low that's down here south of Kodiak Island, southeast of the Alaska Peninsula, and then the hints of a low that'll be coming up along the Kamchatka Peninsula up into the southwestern Bering. That'll eventually head towards St. Lawrence Island by Monday. And that system is going to have a pretty good front with it that's going to have some wind and rain. So looking at the surface weather maps late tonight, early Saturday morning. We have the main low circulation sitting back here east of Kodiak Island, kind of in the lower southwest quadrant of the Gulf. We've had this one weakening occluded front lifting up into the inner channels, kind of pivoting back to the north and a little westward. This will have some breezy conditions, and that'll serve to enhance some of the rain areas and showers there across the Panhandle tonight into Saturday. There's another impulse here. We're going to see another little secondary weak low develop along that as we get into Saturday afternoon. So that as that wave rotates back to the north and then west, that's just going to provide some additional enhancement to any rain showers lingering over the Panhandle. Meanwhile, we're also going to see with this wave an enhancement to some of the rain over the Copper River Basin. Northern western Copper River Basin could pick up a half an inch of rainfall as we go through Saturday, and that moisture will try to pivot back further westward. And then you see the hints. First, there's a push of warmer air with windier conditions coming in out of the North Pacific into the lower southwest portion of the Bering Sea. And as we get into Sunday afternoon, that low is going to continue east-northeastward with this front ahead of it. This front, well, will have some breezier conditions because of the tighter pressure gradient, and the moisture feed along it will serve to bring some moderate to locally heavier rain or rain showers. And then for Sunday, we have another impulse down here in the North Pacific trying to come northward. There's definitely warmer air as you head east toward Vancouver Island and toward the lower 48 Pacific Northwest. Otherwise, the moisture on Sunday will be increasing here because of easterly waves coming in like this. So there could be scattered showers, isolated storms firing up with that moisture as we go through Sunday afternoon, evening. Same thing Monday and on Tuesday. And so by Monday afternoon, here we have that weak low, kind of a weakening front that's going to be pulling back up in the Panhandle, bringing some additional rainfall, especially southern central areas of the Panhandle. We find again a scattering of showers and isolated thunderstorms for the eastern, southern interior. But this front has got a bit of a punch to it. It's going to have some perhaps gale force and certainly small craft winds, but also a band of rain that just pushes up in along the west coast, all the way north to the Bering Strait, Seward Peninsula, south through Norton Sound, the YK deltas, Bristol Bay, and on up into the Alaska Peninsula. So the temperature outlook for Saturday morning, we're going to generally see readings above 50 at Fairbanks, Yukon Flats, Arctic Village. Readings coolest along the Arctic coast, generally staying just above the freezing mark. And then as we look at the rest of south central and on over into the Panhandle, lows generally from upper 40s to lower mid 50s, especially where it stays cloudier, it'll be a little warmer. Saturday afternoon temperatures, highest readings are going to be, say, around Fairbanks, on over toward Bettles, Tanana, 75-ish, maybe 78 up there at Yukon Flats. Readings could make around 50 there at Wainwright and Point Lay. And then as we drop further south, we do expect in through the lower Susitna Valley, Wasilla, Palmer, 68 or so. If you get a little bit of sun, you could squeak out a 70. And then cooler in the Panhandle. You're stuck under the low cloudiness, areas of fog and rain. So highs mainly 50s to around 60 degrees, not all that warm. And then for Sunday, we find lows again up here through the upper Yukon Valley, Porcupine Valley there, the Yukon Flats, staying above 50, 57, the low at Fort Yukon. We find Anchorage, maybe the low staying above there, 52, 54. And lows generally in through the Panhandle, lower 50s. We find readings a couple degrees higher than what they were along the Arctic coast. And then 39, 40-ish at Savunga, 43 down to St. Paul. And temperatures Sunday afternoon, if you get a little bit of sun, it could enhance the instability there in the Yukon Flats, contributing to some scattered showers and storms, but maybe 80 at Fort Yukon, 75 again around Fairbanks on over to Bettles and Tanana. So that would, any heating like that could contribute to some additional thunderstorm development. Otherwise, temperatures do come upward along the Arctic coast into the 40s and 50s. Going to be getting more of a offshore southerly flow helping to enhance that, or I should say even southeasterly flow. 54 the high forecast Sunday afternoon there at Wainwright and Point Lay, and even coming up into the northern Seward Peninsula, 52 at Shishmaref. And then down across the Gulf Coast, a little cooler readings May get a few readings above 60 in the Panhandle, but it's going to be generally mostly cloudy to cloudy with some areas of lingering light rain or rain showers, and some of that moisture is going to pull back toward Prince William Sound and the eastern Kenai, so we expect little cooler readings there along the Gulf Coast, especially at Cordova, Valdez, and Whittier. So temperature outlook here as we get into 4th of July, July 3rd through the 7th. This is the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Greatest threat for temperatures averaging a bit above normal, middle upper Yukon Valley, across the central interior into the west, more likely. Near normal temperatures, the Alaska Peninsula, areas of south central around Cook Inlet, Prince William Sound, and then maybe a little below normal, probably be an indication of more in the way of cloud cover and some showers there lingering across the Panhandle in that time frame, so a little cooler than the normal temperatures. And the best chance for precipitation to average a bit above normal will be along the west coast, Seward Peninsula down through the lower Yukon, Kuskokwim, Bristol Bays, and the Alaska Peninsula, because we are going to get that system coming in later this weekend, early next week, that's going to kind of keep more of a west-southwesterly feed of moisture coming in off the Bering. And then perhaps just a slight tilt to a little above normal precipitation over areas of south central and back through the Panhandle. And again, that's for the time frame of July 3rd through the 7th.